everybody, Fracture here, and this tutorial will be emphasizing the use of the basic MIDI keyboard that comes with the MPK Mini. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my live devices and I'm just going to select an operator and just drag it right in. Operator is just a basic software instrument, and I'm just going to use it to show you how you can use the MPK Mini just like a regular keyboard. Notice you need to arm session recording for your MIDI device's input to go right into that instrument. So yeah, just make sure it's selected. So the keys aren't weighted, and 25 keys aren't really enough for you to play like a piano recital, but you can still do stuff like this. So you can still play some songs, but the MPK Mini's keyboard is really good for like playing melodies and stuff. Now what I want to focus on are the octave buttons that are right over here, the octave shift up and shift down button. So if I press shift up, you'll notice that my keyboard is now playing one octave higher. And I can keep going up if I want to. And then I can go back down to C2, which is where I started, and start going even lower than that. So yeah, if you just want to use the MPK Mini as a basic MIDI keyboard, that's just how you can do it right there. In terms of the range of octaves, you can go from C-2 all the way to C6, so you have a range of 8 octaves that you can cover, and I'll show you how that's really cool in the later part of this video. So the MPK Mini also actually comes with an arpeggiator, the on and off buttons right over there, and I'm just tapping tempo over here, you can see. I personally wouldn't use the arpeggiator, but I mean, that's just me, you know, it's another feature that the MPK Mini comes with, so you can definitely experiment with it. So you've seen how you can use it now as a MIDI keyboard, but now I'm going to show you how to use it to trigger samples. So I'm just going to get rid of operator right now, and I'm going to look for a sample to use for the next part of this tutorial, and I'm just going to use one of my tracks called Forgive Me Then. It's actually a free download available on my Bandcamp page as well, and I'll post a link to download that below as well. So I'm just going to drag it into that audio track we have over there, and I'm going to set the quantization to none. So I go over this technique a lot in my sample triggering basics video, so if you're unsure what I'm doing here, just be sure to check that out. Now, like I did with my drum pads before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the MIDI map button up top, and I'm going to click on the cell, but I'm now going to click on the key on my MPK Mini and not a pad. Let me just find a suitable part of the track that I want to be triggering from. Just looking for a kick that I can trigger it from. And now, as you can see, I'm just pressing that key on my MPK and I'm triggering that sample. What's awesome now is that you have 25 keys, and instead of using them as just as like a basic MIDI keyboard before, you can now use them to map them to samples or, you know, other things, and you can get really creative with it. As you can see, every different key that I press, it shows you exactly which key that is that's mapping to that cell right in that number right over there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to map the rest of the cells in this audio track to the other keys on my MPK Mini. I'm just going to duplicate that track a bunch of times and find some different parts of the track to trigger it from, and you'll see what I can do with this now. I just want to get the snare sound right here. Notice that some of the drum pads light up as well when I press these keys, and that's because those drum pads actually send the same notes, but only in this octave. So don't worry, you aren't stuck with like a permanent overlap. So what I did was I duplicated that sample and I just put it on a different part of the track, and look, I can just mess around with this and it's starting to sound pretty sick. Because remember, I have all these cells also mapped to the keys on the MPK Mini. So don't be stuck on convention. If you feel like you're a better drummer using a keyboard instead of drum pads, then go for it. And the MPK's got good flexibility for this as well. When you play one sample, all the other samples will stop because it's just in one audio track. You could potentially have the MIDI keys map to different cells on different audio tracks and do a bunch of other stuff. So I just duplicated that audio track, and I'm going to use MIDI map mode to map the keys to other ones. By the way, if you just click on one of the cells that's already mapped and press delete, it'll remove that mapping for you. So I'm not doing anything musical here, but just showing this to you. So I can have them overlap. So now I want to focus on the fact that you just have an outrageous range of keys that you could potentially map to stuff. And I'm going to show you right here. So when I enter MIDI map mode and I click on I'm just going to delete these first. So I just want one right now, so yeah, there you go. So if you combine this with the octave shift up, shift down key, and you use keys and notes in different octaves, you just have a huge range of notes that you can use to be mapping stuff with the MPK Mini. And so you can see that the number there changes depending on which octave I'm in. It goes from C-2 I think all the way to C6, as I mentioned before. So you'll have that whole octave starting from the C note. So I'm just going to duplicate that track, and so, let's say that you want to have one octave for a specific set of sounds and then another octave for another style of sounds. So I'm putting this second sample here in a different octave, but it's the same note. And I'm just going to transpose that sample by 5 semitones, just pitch shift it. Now as I'm switching between octaves, I'm switching between the different set of samples potentially. And yep, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.